Hey everyone, welcome back. You are listening to 한국어천재 on TBS EFM 101.3 in Seoul and the surrounding areas. And now it is Thursday. You guys know what that means. It's time to kind of level up our Korean here and get a little high-level advanced Korean coming at us from Professor Daniel. How's it going?
Awesome as always, right? So,
I love it here. I'm just like staring at you like, I haven't seen you in a week. How you been?
it's good to be back, right?
So good to be back here. I know we're all prepping for Chuseok coming up.
That's right, we are.
Yeah, it's the big one next week, you guys. We got the holidays coming up here soon. Make sure you guys come and tune in and hang out with me. But Professor Daniel here has been kind of planning some fun things before the holiday. We're kind of sticking with these fun little sounds and stuff. They're just so much fun to study about. And oftentimes I feel like a lot of books don't cover this stuff enough.
Agreed. This is not taught in the average Korean course.
Yeah, and I feel like they're just these little gems, the onomatopoeias that you can sprinkle in your sentences just to make them a little more vibrant, a little more lively here. And last week we covered some, I want to say, body sounds that they either make or produce.
Yes.
Or
Some unconsciously, right?
Exactly here. So this first one, I just want to review for those of who are maybe our new listeners tuning in. What we covered last week as a review here are these kind of like 몸에서 나는 소리, like the kind of things that come out of your body. And the first one was that ong sound,
Yes.
which I remember you did such a great job. Can you do one more time?
Absolutely. So I'll give a little ball here. So, ong.
Yeah, ong 울었던. It's this like crying sound, but it's more of a wail, isn't it?
Yes, louder than hook, which was one of the other ones.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are the two that you could kind of keep in your mind in terms of like the crying stages. We had ong, which was more of a wailing, bawling, like sort of
Let it
sound.
all out.
Yeah, but then as Professor Daniel said, hook is also a sound. And what was that more?
Kind of a short, quiet sob that you're trying to keep in maybe
Yeah.
instead of let out. Yeah.
Can you give us your best hook? It's so good, you
So
guys.
sad.
I love putting him in the spotlight there. Well, we also covered 징징.
We sure did, which is
징징거리다.
different from 찡찡.
Exactly.
Just to complain.
Yeah, we had two kind of similar sounding things, and so Professor Daniel and I always like to cover like those 쌍글자s versus just the regular ones. And this one is 징징거리다, which is more of that whimpering sound.
Whimper, yes.
Yeah, but if it was 찡찡거리다, then we're whining. So
Exactly.
don't miss those out there.
찡찡대지마, right? So,
I love that. But then what was our next one we had?
this is if after you're crying or if you have a little cold, you might be going 훌쩍훌쩍.
I love that. And you can kind of picture it like the... It's that sniffling sound, right?
Can't quite keep your nose straight. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So you could be cold, it's the middle of winter and just kind of doing that. That could be 훌쩍훌쩍 as
Absolutely.
well. But a lot of the times when you're finished crying, having a good ong, you often will teeter into hook, and then you end up going 훌쩍훌쩍.
Exactly, right?
But then what else did we have here? There were a couple more we covered.
We also covered a kind of groan, which is 낑낑.
That one, I remember it's when something really heavy, or like you had this giant burden on your shoulders.
Groaning under a huge weight. Right?
Yeah, that 낑낑. You can kind of picture it there. Well, then we had my personal favorite when you're hungry, the 꼬르륵.
꼬르륵 소리.
Oh, yeah, you can just, because when we talk about our stomach growling in English, we don't have a real great onomatopoeia for it.
Yeah, none that come to mind.
Yeah,
so.
we'll usually be like, oh, my stomach's growling, or oh, my stomach's rumbling. But there's nothing that really gets that sound. But in Korean, we got it, and it's 꼬르륵. So I love that. That's one of my favorites here. But then we had a couple more. What's the 뚝 one?
Oh, okay. So if you hear like a part of your body kind of maybe a bone that's creaking under the load or breaking in some way, you would call that 뚝.
That's my knee every time I stand up or go rock climbing.
You might want to get that looked at, right?
Yeah, that one I already know it's broken. I'm just waiting until I'm older to fix it. But another one that I'm very familiar with is the 띠르렁, because 띠르렁 is the sound of snoring, and my family, all the men in my family, snore terribly.
I'm in that club too, so I do a lot of 뚜르렁잉.
Ooh, the 띠르렁. So it's not 으르렁, which was the growl that a lot of animals make.
Lions and tigers. Yep.
This is 띠르렁, 띠르렁, which is that kind of snoring, the sound there. But what was this last one we had covered? There's a fun little one we threw on at the end.
Sure. So one, if you have a little bit too much food, you might make a boom boom. Right? So
I love how you explain. You might make a boom boom. It's the sound of flatulence.
yes, the nice word for it. Yeah, we'll keep the register nice and high today, right? So,
Yeah, it's a little like when you're a little gassy in the rear, there might be a little boom boom on there. So those were kind of the ones we covered. If you guys are interested in going a little more in depth, please be sure to check out our 팟빵 or YouTube and iTunes there. We can always go back to those. Vroomi here has a question. 슬쩍슬쩍 뭐죠? So the sound 슬쩍슬쩍. They're asking, I can't say that I am
don't know.
familiar with 슬쩍슬쩍. Is that a particular? Oh, we have the answer coming in here from our 팀장 as well. He's saying secretly. Oh, it's like when you it's kind of a secret kind of sounding. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
No, I did not. Learn
Look at
something new
us.
every day.
Oh yeah, we're all looking. Vroomi, look at you. You're an advanced level Korean here, schooling us.
Bravo. Right.
Yeah, schooling us live on air. So it's, I guess, apparently very stealthily doing something or kind of secretly doing something.
On the down low.
Yeah, that would be the best way. Now, today, we're going to be going into 의태어. And 의태어, we would say is like what? Mimetic words?
Mimetic words that kind of match the appearance or the shape or the vibe. Yes.
We do not have these in English, and so they're kind of hard to explain. So we'll just dive in and maybe you can get the feeling of what we're talking about. What's this first one here?
Ooh, the first one here is 울퉁불퉁.
울퉁불퉁.
So I'll read an example sentence for us here. So 인도가 울퉁불퉁해서 넘어지겠다.
오, 인도가 울퉁불퉁해서 넘어지겠다. Okay, so I can already feel it. If you can sense it in your mind here, 울퉁불퉁. What is that kind of feeling, that sound that it makes there? It
Not very smooth. Right?
No, it's not. It's very bumpy or kind of rough or rugged kind of feeling. It's that 울퉁불퉁, kind of like this up and down
right?
kind of feeling. And that's what it is, right?
Exactly. So it could be uneven, rugged. So in this case, we're talking about the sidewalk, not India, Indo.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but sidewalk 할 때 Indo, right? So yeah.
We're just saying India. The whole country of India is rough and bumpy.
No, sidewalk, right?
Yeah. So the sidewalk here is a little rough and bumpy. So you might fall down.
Exactly, yes. So beware, right?
Yeah.
Watch your step, kind of.
Watch your step. Yeah. Now this second one here, we've got two of them.
We sure do. Kind of antonyms or opposites here, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
What is this?
okay, the first one is 쭉쭉.
Oh, 쭉쭉. Okay.
And then the second one is 꼬불꼬불.
꼬불꼬불. Okay. 쭉쭉, 꼬불꼬불. You can kind of, again, feel that, but let's read the sentence. What does the sentence
So
say?
we have 산길이 쭉쭉 뻗어있지 않고 꼬불꼬불하다.
Okay. 산길이 쭉쭉 뻗어 있지 않고 꼬불꼬불하다. Okay, so we're talking about like this sort of path here.
Yes, a mountain path, a mountain road, 산길, right? So
쭉쭉 뻗어 있지 않고 꼬불꼬불하다. Okay, so it's saying it's not 쭉쭉.
it's not straight here, exactly.
And it's very 꼬불꼬불. 꼬불꼬불, what would you describe that as?
Windy,
Ooh.
roundabout, zigzaggy, right?
You can picture like a winding mountain path zigzagging all over, which is what I feel like when I go hiking here around the area in Seoul. Those paths are not juk at all. They
Exactly.
are like half the time I'm like up a boulder and then like in a tree and like
Following the contours.
Yeah, like I had one time where I was literally like horizontal and I was just climbing up this rock. I'm like, this
90-degree angle,
Yeah, this
the ridge.
is not normal. This is 꼬불꼬불, this winding, zigzaggy kind of path that they have there.
Exactly.
I love it. You can sort of feel it with the way it sounds. It just kind of, again, emphasizes what you're talking
Perfect,
about.
yeah, mimetic device.
And now what's this third one here?
Oh, this is a good one here. So this is much easier. So 퐁퐁.
Pong pong. Oh, it sounds like something like hitting something. You're like pong, 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 pong.
Exactly, yes.
And what would that mean? Like falling hard?
Yes,
Like,
and in this case, snow would be a good example. So you could say 서울에 흰 눈이 펑펑 쏟아진다.
oh, I like that. 서울에 흰 눈이 펑펑 쏟아진다. And so that's kind of that snow, that white snow is just falling down hard. It's coming down
Hitting
hard.
the streets of Seoul.
Yeah, it's just coming on down there. I really like that one. And then we do have a couple more here. What's this next one?
Ooh, this is a good one too. So, 공공.
꽁꽁. Okay, we had 펑펑 and now we have 꽁꽁. What is 꽁꽁?
So after a lot of the pongpong, you might get some 공공 where the snow freezes over here. So frozen. So the example I have here is 눈이 내려서 도로가 꽁꽁 얼었네요.
꽁꽁 얼었네요. Let it go. So this one here is again talking about these like frozen over sort of
Frozen
thing.
over,
yeah,
yes.
right? It's been frozen over. Here we're talking about the road being frozen
We sure
over,
are
right?
after all that snow. Yeah. And there can be abstract meanings here. Like you could talk about the stock market, 주택, or the housing market. 주택시장이 콩콩 얼었다. For instance.
So like the market froze over in terms,
Exactly.
not literally, but figuratively.
Figuratively, there are fewer sales, less stuff going on. Who knows?
That's
right?
perfect. So one more time, everyone, that 눈이 내려서, as Daniel covered, we talked about the 눈 in the previous one here, the 펑펑 쏟아진다. This time, the snow fell here, 눈이 내려서 도로가 꽁꽁 얼었네요. That's like it froze over here. Ugh,
Be careful out there, kids. Right?
Yeah, that's me falling all the time on that. What's this next one, though? I like this next one.
Oh, this is adorable. So, two words here again. So keep your ears peeled. 뚱뚱하기는요. 우리 멍멍이는 포동포동한 게 귀엽잖아요.
So cute. I love it. 뚱뚱하기는요. 우리 멍멍이는 포동포동한 게 귀엽잖아요.
Exactly.
It's so cute.
So one positive adjective and one slightly negative.
Yeah, and actually, I feel like I kind of want to. I didn't tell Daniel about this, but I kind of want to make a comment that 하기는요. We use this to kind of talk. It's a grammatical point that I think is really good for people to know when you're kind of being a little humble about something. I think so. Like for example, if somebody was like, "Oh, 너무 예뻐요," like, "Oh, you're so pretty," you might respond by saying, 예쁘기는요. Like, oh, I'm not that pretty. Or like, oh, 한국말 되게 잘하시네요. Like, you speak Korean so well. You can kind of answer, 아니에요, 잘하기는요. Like, oh, I'm still not that good. It's a very kind of, I want to say like polite way of responding to compliments.
Can
right?
also be used the other way to like, who are you calling blah, blah, blah. So beware as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Keep that in mind. So here we're saying 뚱뚱하기는요. And 뚱뚱하다 is kind of fat, right?
Yes, chubby in a negative way.
Yeah, so it's not a great connotation here. But then that second part is where we get kind of the nicer.
We sure do.
The
a lot
nicer
sweeter
words.
here.
Yeah, what is this next part?
Well, our little puppy, our little 멍멍이 is 포동포동한 게.
Oh, 포동포동. So I don't know if you can hear the difference. 뚱뚱, it kind of has that feeling of being a little negative, right?
Totally.
But 포동포동 kind of just sounds, and it's not just my intonation, it just sounds a little cuter.
It
and,
sure does.
and-
Accentuating the positive.
Yeah, and it's more like I want to say chubby, right?
Yes, chubby. And for like a kid or a baby or a little puppy.
Yeah, you would not do this to an adult. I would not call Professor Daniel like and be like, hey, today looking kind of 포동포동. He'd
I'm
be
just
like,
tung to be honest.
no, you are not at all. That is not what I was saying at all. Here, so don't use it to adults. It's not exactly polite, but towards kids, animals, totally okay. And there's also that term I kind of wanted to introduce if we had some time here, 오동통.
Exactly. And
What would that be in
like
terms
kind
of
of
this?
fleshy in a good way. Like say you're looking at a crab, like 햇살, it would be 오동통. If there's this crab has loads of flesh to eat, then you could call it, I guess, 오동통.
Oh, it's got like a good meaty kind of
meaty.
crab or lobster. It's got a lot of on it there. That could
Lots of
be
flesh.
오동통. So we've got, up until now, we've got a ton of different things, but we do have a couple more here to get to. What's this next one?
Oh, this is a tough one too. So I'll read it out for us. So 방이 뒤죽박죽, 정신이 하나도 없네.
뒤죽박죽. What is that? I honestly don't know this
Does
one.
it sound good or bad here?
I want to say it doesn't sound the greatest. Yeah,
Agreed,
뒤죽박죽. It just kind of say, and especially if you have the 정신이 하나도 없네, that is not a good thing.
No,
I'm
this is-
completely like, out of sorts sort
Exactly. So it means basically a mess, a hodgepodge, a mishmash, higgledy-piggledy.
of thing. Higgledy-piggledy.
I've never gotten to use that phrase.
Oh my gosh, I am a native speaker and never use that phrase. I love it. I'm throwing that in my daily words. So we've got, your room is higgledy-piggledy. So
Yes.
So it's just messy. It's really messy, right?
Exactly. So 정신 하나도 없네. I can't find what I need. I'm all out of sorts here.
Okay, that 뒤죽박죽. And then we have two more to get to. What's this next one?
Oh, this is great. Similar to 포동포동한. So we have 아기 얼굴이 동글동글해서 아주 귀엽지요.
아기 얼굴이 동글동글해서 아주 귀엽죠? That's saying it's like a round.
Yeah, this time it's not a matter of like weight per se, but just that it's rounded in shape.
You'll often hear people talking about like people's eyes being like 동그랗게, like a very round eyes or wide eyes. Here, that 동글동글 is kind of talking about that very round sort of shape.
Exactly. It can also refer to like movement as well. 동글동글.
Yeah,
or
rolling.
대굴대굴 kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that feeling of rolling as well, which you can probably feel, I'm guessing. And then finally, this last one. What is this?
Oh, this is a nice one here. So 숙제 끝났으면 차곡차곡 정리해라.
Oh, I like this one too. 숙제 끝났으면 차곡차곡 정리해라. And so 차곡차곡, if you can picture that in your head, 차곡차곡, 차곡차곡. It's kind of that feeling of like organizing.
Organizing it, doing it step by step, taking one thing at a time in a pile, right?
Like neatly doing something there. 차곡차곡 정리해라. And so I really like that. And once again, let's just real quick before we move on, wrap it up by going through these real quick.
Sure.
Our first one was
울퉁불퉁.
울퉁불퉁. Number 2,
we have 쭉쭉 and also 꼬불꼬불.
Great. And then number 3,
퐁퐁.
퐁퐁, which is followed by 4,
콩콩.
꽁꽁. I love it. Number 5 then, we had a couple.
Got 2 here. So 뚱뚱 and 포동포동.
I love it. And number 6,
뒤죽박죽.
뒤죽박죽. And then number 7,
동글동글.
동글동글. I love it. And last one,
My favorite here, 차곡차곡.
차곡차곡. I love these here. Now, as you guys know, we love going through these, especially the 의태어, because we don't have them in English. But I always want to give Professor Daniel his time to shine. So let's take a listen to our movie clip.
아직 신에게는 12척의 배가 남아있사옵니다.
Wow. Oh my goodness. The volume on that went up tenfold.
Time travel today, right?
No kidding. Yeah. Now, this one is actually from a movie called 명량, right?
Exactly.
명량 here is a well-known movie, and we're talking about a very important historical figure in Korean history, aren't we?
We sure are. So this is Admiral Lee Sun-shin.
Lee Sun-shin. Now, you guys might know because he's of course, he's one of the most famous people. We got a statue for
right
him.
In Gwanghwamun?
Yeah, right
so.
in Gwanghwamun. He's a very important person. But I actually had the great chance to go down to Yeosu, and I got to see 거북선.
Wow, the turtle ship.
Yeah, the turtle
Awesome.
ship, which is what Lee Sun-shin was very well known for using these 거북선, like turtle. They call them turtle ship because they kind of look like a turtle in
Very
the shell.
heavily armored. Right?
Yeah, like it's got this heavily armored shell. It's very cool. Highly recommend checking it out if you ever get a chance to travel down to Yeosu. But why is Lee Sun-shin such an important figure in history?
Strategic genius, boat designer, and able to defeat lots and lots of enemy boats.
Oh,
with
yeah.
only 12 ships.
And that's what this quote here is saying, isn't
sure
it? Here,
is.
can you give us your best rendition?
I'll give it my best shot here. 아직 신에게는 12척의 배가 남아있사옵니다.
Oh my God, that was so good. Our 팀장 over there in the corner just literally caved over. Oh, that was so much fun. Your voice dropped about 30 octaves.
Did it? Okay, good.
That was amazing.
Imagining myself amidst the 임진왜란. Right?
Oh, I love it. Well, so here we're talking about how he's basically saying, I still have 12 boats left, 12 vessels, I guess we could say. And the reason that we're talking about here is because actually a lot of times in historical movies in particular, their way of speaking is a little different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Like a deha drama or any kind of traditional,
It can be really hard to understand. So for those of you who watch those historical dramas, you've leveled up in terms of your Korean. That is advanced Korean right there. And so
Get those subtitles ready, right?
Oh, yeah, man. Even me, I'm always just like, wait, what did they say? Huh? And so we're going to try to like help you guys out here by breaking this, even though it's one line, it's quite a heavy, important line.
Agreed, yes. Turning point for the nation. Almost.
Yeah, because he had been talking about how there were so many enemy vessels.
Exactly. Hundreds, I've heard.
Yeah, and he's saying here, I still have 12 vessels left. And that's kind of giving that feeling of, even though there isn't like this is a very kind of heavy-sided, one person has way more than the other. It's unbalanced. He's like, I'm still going to go do this. We
Never
can
give up
still
spirit.
do this. Yeah, we can
Exactly.
still tackle this with these 12 vessels. And he says here specifically, 12 척. And the reason I want to point out 척 is because 척 is a counter
For boats.
for boats.
And only for seagoing vessels.
Exactly. So I've mentioned counters before here. We've talked about 명, we've talked about 마리, we've talked about 관, we've talked about
장.
개. Yeah, 장. Like there's so many counters for different objects. 척 is the counter for boats, for like any sea-bearing vessel, I guess you could say. And then another thing, I guess, is one of the ways that they were speaking in this here, they use this term 이옵니다 or 뭐 이사 옵니다. What is that exactly?
A very formal way of speaking.
It's very highly honorific.
Yes.
It's like a high 높은 말.
Talking way, way up.
Yes, exactly. And so you won't hear this in everyday Korean.
And you certainly won't hear it now, right? These days, right?
You'll not hear it now, but if you are able to understand that when you watch films like this, you'll be able to get a better grasp on these advanced terminology.
Think of it as Shakespearean English. Yeah,
Exactly. Oh, Daniel, I had so much fun with you today. Thanks again so much for joining me.
Awesome time. Right.
And thank you to Koreangenius as well. Had a great time with you all. But unfortunately, we are out of time. This was 한국어천재. I'm Kayla.